What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Christopher Rausch, your No Excuses coach, and you are at your place for the Raw and Unscripted show every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. 7 Pacific Standard Time. We are here to elevate your life, to ditch your excuses and your tolerations in favor of becoming a rock star and owning who it is that you are and that you deserve to become. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is just you and I tonight on this Raw and Unscripted show, so I'm just going to jump right into it. We've titled the show tonight, How to Stay Positive During Tough Times. There are no shortage of tough times in the world today. I think you would all agree with me. And I can say this very confidently, even though I do not watch the news or follow politics. That is one of my claims to fame. Is about 10 years ago, I was a news junkie and I was a political junkie. And I just decided that I was tired of yelling at the television set. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to focus on what it is that I can do in my own life, in my own community, in my own world to make the world a better place. And I'm going to let the rest of it fall where it needs to fall. But excuse me, I'm a little ill tonight, so I'm not feeling my greatest, but I did not want to miss out this opportunity to have a solo conversation with you guys and talk about what it is that we can do to get through tough times, because it's massively important. And that's one of the reasons why I'm alive, is that I became the No Excuses coach to help people shift their perspective about their past, present, and their future, to really get an idea that sometimes those tough times are really the best times. Because when you think about it, when have you learned and grown the most? Think about this hard. Like, when have you learned and grown the most? When things were easy? No. Or when things were challenging? Of course, when things were challenging. So when you think about that, you have to ask yourself, what in the fuck am I supposed to be learning from this? As you're going through those challenging moments, as you're feeling like God's source universe is giving you more than you can handle, right? Think about that. Like, why do I keep having these experiences? It's because you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And we're going to be talking about expectations here in the broadcast. So what I've done is I've created a list for you guys. So I encourage you to write these things down. I've created a list of what it is that you can do in tough times. And then if we have enough time, we're going to continue from another show that we did where I took a bunch of your questions and I didn't make it through all the questions. So if we have enough time tonight, we're going to touch upon those questions. And those are life questions, like what can we do to improve our lives? So it's a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. So I encourage you to take notes. I encourage you to share this episode out as you're listening to it or watching it and you find value out of this. My whole goal is to reach 1 million people in 2024. So I've reached thousands. I might have reached hundreds of thousands, but I want to reach 1 million people in 2024 and I need your help. So when you get value out of this particular episode, share it on your social media. Say, wow, I just listened to this guy. He's the No Excuses coach and he shared with me how I can get through tough times. So without any further ado, the first thing I want to talk about is garbage in, garbage out. You guys have heard that phrase before. A lot of times it's used in computer programming. Like if you program garbage in, guess what? You're going to get garbage out. The same thing applies in your life. And so the first thing I want to touch on tonight is the fact of taking care of yourself. Now that might seem a little idiotic, like take care of myself, Chris. Well, yeah, I take pretty good care of myself. No, do you take excellent care of yourself? Do you really do the 5 things that I talk about? Nutrition, hydration, sleep, vitamin D, and exercise. So again, sleep, nutrition, vitamin D, exercise, hydration, and sleep. I think I said all those. So 5 things, you got it. So, I mean, when you think about it, number 1, hydration. When I talk to people about hydrating themselves, I'm like, how much water do you drink? I really don't drink enough water. I really don't drink much water every single day. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you're not drinking water, your body's like 80% water. So if you're not drinking water, you're fucking yourself up by the fact that you're not pouring in the nutrients that your body needs. So what do you feel? You feel lethargic, you feel exhausted, you feel brain fog, you feel all these different things because you're not drinking good old fashioned water. So what I ascribe to, and I found this works for me, is half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces of water every single day. I get 32 ounce. This is a 32 ounce bottle. So I know if I drink 4 of those a day, that's a gallon. And I know for me, a gallon, a little bit over a gallon, I probably drink every single day. And I can tell when I don't. Like if I'm having a really super busy day or if I'm out in traffic a lot and I don't have access to a bathroom, I'm not going to drink as much water because obviously for obvious reasons, I don't be peeing on the side of the road. So water is massively important. I talked to so many people during COVID and I would ask them that simple question. They would tell me about how bad they feel. You know, I just feel like shit all the time, Chris. I'm not making the right decisions, Chris. You know, and I'm like, okay, how much fucking water do you drink? Like, yeah, I don't. I'm like, okay, do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Don't even do me a favor. Over the next 2 weeks, I want you to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. And I want you to tell me how much different you feel. How much different do you feel? Right? And then the other thing is sleep. I wear an Aura ring. Well, I'm not wearing it right now because it's charging. So I wear an Aura ring. It's a sleep ring. Every morning when I get up, I look at my sleep. How much was my deep sleep? How much was my REM sleep? How much was my light sleep? How many times was I active? What was my HRV? What was my resting heart rate? All those different things, because I found out when I got the ring, I spent a year biohacking sleep and like, how can you get the most out of sleep? Because I used to think that sleep was not a non-necessity. Like, oh, if I get 2 or 3 hours, I'll be fine. But then I started realizing that all the successful people that I was following and I was mentoring after, they were getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep. And I'm like, I don't have time to sleep. I'm doing this and I'm a fucking hustler. I'm a baller. I'm all this thing and all that in a fucking bag of chips. So maybe, it rang upon me to sit there and think like, okay, how can I get better quality sleep? I learned about blue glasses. So I have glasses that filter out the blue lights if I'm looking at my phone. So now I don't even look at my phone for an hour before I go to sleep. I don't watch TV. I read a book. So there's all these different things, but the Aura ring really helped me identify that when I ate late or if I drank alcohol, that my sleep was shitty, that I didn't get the deep sleep. And guess what? I woke up the next day and I felt like crap, because you get a sleep score every day. And it's not that the sleep score put that into my brain. It's the fact that I was able to recognize, because I was focusing on it. Again, that garbage in, garbage out that I talked about at the beginning of the show, that's a factor. So when you're sitting there thinking about how much you want to provide for everybody else, you have to turn those fingers inward to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. So if I ask you, who's the person you love the most in your life? And most times people tell me their kids. I'm like, what's your kid's name? Oh, kid's name's Jason and Adele, or whatever that might be. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love your kids? Well, a 10. I'm like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you taking care of yourself? And you can't pick 7. You can never pick 7. And so most people are like, well, a 5 or a 6. And I'm like, so you're giving your kids a 5 or a 6. Because if you were operating at a 10, if you were feeling better, how much better would your results be? Be honest. Oh, my results would be a lot better. How much less quick? That's a fucked up way of saying it. I told you guys I'm tired and I don't feel very good. How faster or how much reduced time would it be before you lose your temper with your kids if you were feeling good? If you got hydration, you got nutrition, you got your exercise, you got your vitamin D, you got all those things, your reaction time would be a lot slower. You'd have a lot more patience. And so I encourage you, as we're going through this broadcast tonight, think about what it is that you can do for yourself. And it's not being selfish, right? It's not being selfish. It's being purposeful in the fact that when you take care of yourself, you demonstrate to your kids, you demonstrate to the people that are in your life that look up to you. Maybe they're coworkers, maybe they're friends, maybe they're family members. Wow, he really takes great care of himself. He goes to the gym when he doesn't feel like, and he's out there, he's busting, he's feeling good, right? He's using his power of his voice and his mind to send across a message to everybody in this world that they can live a better life. People admire that. People admire that from me. They're like, Chris, I don't even understand how you can go to the gym sometimes with your back and everything else. I'm like, my back is one part. The rest of my body's fine. So I choose to strengthen the rest of my body because it's going to help me with my back. Having strong legs, having a strong back, having strong arms, all helps. So I don't sit there and say, I can't go to the gym because my back hurts. I sit there and say, I go to the gym because my back hurts. Right. So again, that garbage in, garbage out. We got Jock Brokus in the house. We got Alundas. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. We just got recently connected. He's saying to preach. What's up? Thank you guys all for being here. We got Jock Brokus in the house. My brother, I was just thinking about you today. Alunda says here, he goes, you are 100% right, brother. People don't take excellent care of themselves. No, they don't. And I've had my ebbs and flows. I've had my ups and flows. He says here, Jock says, I'm drinking a tons of water now. That's good, man. I'm proud of you. What is it? Jock also says here, my tack watch does that with my sleep. I have yet to get good sleep. Yeah, just imagine what it's going to feel like when you get good sleep. And I encourage you to get the Oura ring. That way you can kind of really monitor what it is. Don't eat past 7 o'clock. Make sure you drink a little bit of water, sometimes melatonin, things of that nature, reading a book, doing some binaural beats, doing some nighttime meditation can help as well. But definitely making sure you get good sleep is super important. And speaking of sleep, it's good morning from China. What's going on, Dennis Norella? Hey, man, I appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you what you're doing over there, and I just appreciate you joining us tonight. Jock says, well, I'm down nearly 60 pounds. That will make massive amount of difference in your confidence, in your health and everything else. Because when you start to feel good, then you want to go do more. Like, hey man, I've always wanted to enter a 5K. You start feeling better, you do better. And then you start realizing the areas of your life where you're kind of fucking off. Maybe your friends, maybe your diet, maybe other things. You're like, man, if I feel this good now, what would it feel like if I ate really good 6 days a week and I had a fart off day, on Sundays? And I subscribe to that. I think if you do really good 6 days a week, you can have that one day where you get whatever you want and you're not depriving yourself. Nah, it doesn't matter what his name is. He wrote a book and it's really popular, but I can't think of it right at this particular moment. So when you think about taking care of yourself, you know, another aspect of this is the people that you surround yourself with. So when you think about going through tough times, I found for myself, I was hanging around people who like to complain about the tough times. Oh my God, did you see the news last night? And we'd sit there and bitch, piss, and moan about the news. We'd bitch, piss, and moan about the politics. It wasn't getting us anywhere, but frustrated. And so me and a buddy of mine made a pact. Let's see what we do if we just don't watch the news and follow politics for a couple of weeks. And we had so much more to talk about that was positive, that was uplifting. We would talk about music. We talk about movies. We talk about history. We talk about art. We talk about, you know, current events in a positive sense, right? And so when you surround yourself with people who don't focus on the miserable facts of life, and you get around people who are excited about the opportunities of life, it's pretty crazy what it is that can change for you. And that is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. I have had to wish people well in my life. But when you think about tough times, I want people around me who are going to rally, like Jock and like Dennis and like Alundis. I want people that are around me like, hey, Chris, you know, today's a down day, but it doesn't mean a down life. What is it that you can do to feel better about yourself and improve your self-confidence at this particular point? What is it that you can do to make this world a better place? We're going to talk about that in just a second. You know, you want people around you that are going to push you. They're going to push you to do your best and to be your best. That's what's going to get you out of those tough moments. When you're pushing yourself and you have that feel of confidence, you have that feel of, hey man, I'm really doing something when I didn't feel like it. You know, on the days that I go to the gym and I really don't feel like it. I didn't feel like going to the gym this morning. Like I said, I caught a stomach bug from my kid. I haven't got the throw up part or anything like that, but I just feel like shit. I feel super tired. You can hear it in my voice. I am super tired, but I still got up and I went to the gym this morning. Guess what I felt? I felt a sense of accomplishment. I felt a sense of achievement. I felt a sense of pride, right? Because I didn't go crush it, ladies and gentlemen. Normally I work out for about an hour and 20 minutes. I did about 49 minutes today. I rode the bike for 20 minutes and I did about 25 minutes of weight exercises and I did it and it was good enough. It was good enough for me today. I wasn't going to crush it. I wasn't going to push myself to be stupid, but I went and had a good workout and I walked out of the gym feeling a sense of pride. And so when you do that, when you get people around you that say, hey man, if you're having a bad day, go get a workout, go get a run, you know, go put some headphones on, listen to some music, have a playlist. I always tell people this, have a playlist. So when things are shitty, you can go to that playlist. I have a couple of playlists. One of them is called Wake Up Music. It's got about 9 songs in there that if I sing them out loud, when I sing them out loud, I get in a really good mood because your body feels those endorphins. So you're singing Hanson Mbop, you're singing ABBA, Dancing Queen, all these fun songs that we like to sing, you know, Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline, you sing that at the top of your lungs when you're feeling like shit. Guess what? You get to the end of the song, you're feeling pretty good and you get into it like Sweet Caroline, ba, 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 good times never feel so good. So good. So now you're going to have that song stuck in your head. You're welcome. So it's important to make sure that you're doing that. Another important factor of when times are tough and you're trying to get through those tough times is to journal. Get it out. Either get it out with a good friend. I mean, I have great friends. I got Jock, I've got Lee, I've got Walt, I've got Mary Kay. I've got tons of friends that I can talk to and be honest with them because you want to be honest with people. You got to get that out. If you sit there and store it up inside, guess what? You become a fucking time bomb. You can become a fucking time bomb. And I know for me, when I used to keep it inside, like, and it was like a sense of pride, like nobody will ever hear me complain. Nobody will ever hear me have a bad day. I'm the no excuses coach. I have to be tough. Once I let that shit go out, man, it was like a fucking huge deflating tire. Whoa, because I let it all out. And so I think it's important to take pen to paper and write out your feelings and emotions. And it's okay. You're allowed those feelings. Don't sit there and try to paint them all beautiful and everything. You have the right to have the emotions that you have. What you also have the right to do is to find solutions for the issues that you have. So if you find yourself mad at the government and you're mad at this, that, and the other thing, if you're not going out and protesting, if you're not writing your congressman, if you're not doing advocacy groups, if you're not doing things to make a difference, then you're part of the problem, right? And that's what I realized when I was watching the news. I was complaining and I was like, man, they should do this and they should do this. And if I were president, I wasn't even on my school board, right? So what the fuck do I have a right to bitch about? I sit there and I understand the fact that there are going to be ebbs and flows in the world and it's not always going to be great. And again, like I said at the beginning of the show, when have we learned and grown the most? When things were easier, when things were tough, right? So when you're in that situation, when things are tough, ask yourself this question. You guys know I'm about questions. When you ask yourself the right questions and you're honest with yourself, it's pretty fucking incredible what it is that you can accomplish. Here's the question. What am I supposed to be learning from this? What am I supposed to be learning from this? And I can tell you guys, on paper, I look super successful. When people see me on the podcast, you're always so happy and you're always so this. You know, I have challenges just like the rest of you guys. If I watch the news headlines, I don't watch the news, but I'll look at the headlines. I'll be like, holy fucking hell, what the hell is going on in the world today? I can't change what's going on in Israel. I can't change what's going on in Palestine. I can't change the fact that innocent people are losing their lives. I can't change the fact that we got, a gun problem here in the United States and that innocent people are getting shot up every day because we don't address mental health. But what can I do? I can offer mental health assistance to people that I come in contact with. People know me. Like if they know somebody who's having a bad day, turn them on to me. I don't charge them nothing. I'll have a fucking conversation with them and I'll do my best to shift their perspective about where they're at so that they do become a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And you have to ask yourself that question as well. In those moments, you get a one-day pity party in my group. You get one day to bitch, piss, and moan and be miserable and fuck the world and God damn it, why me? And da-da-da. And then you wake up the next day and go, okay, what are the 3 things I can do today that'll be a part of the solution to the situation that I have? Maybe I need to set boundaries with myself. Maybe I need to set boundaries with my employer. Maybe I need to set boundaries with my spouse. Maybe I need to start taking better care of myself. If I'm not taking better care of myself, if I'm not having that sleep, if I'm not getting the vitamin D, which has been proven to show that if you don't get vitamin D or get sunshine on a regular basis, you will get depressed. And I found that out for myself. It rained here in Southern California for like 14 days one time, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. And I found myself just feeling dark. And I'm like, why do I feel so fucking dark? And I looked up at the sky and I'm like, oh, that's right. I haven't seen the sun in a couple of days. And so I went and I looked at season effect disorder, which I know is a thing. And I'm like, can it happen that quick? Yeah, it can happen that quick. So I started getting myself vitamin D supplements. And I also started making an intended effort to go outside every day for 10 minutes and take a break from my work. I was working. I'm gonna show these guys I'm a baller. No, now I'm gonna show these guys this is what you fucking do to take care of yourself. I'm gonna go outside and get some fresh air. I'm gonna get some vitamin D. I'm gonna listen to a couple of songs that'll perk me up. So the rest of the afternoon, I'm not in recovery mode. I'm in kick-ass mode, right? So again, how can you be more part of the solution than part of the problem? It's okay to bitch, piss, and moan every once in a while. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying that you're a Karen if you do that. I'm saying if you don't have more solutions than you do problems, then you're the one that's responsible for it. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming the government. Stop blaming your boss. Stop blaming the guy at fucking Stater Brothers. Stop blaming the guy that cut you off. Whatever you're blaming and whoever you're blaming, stop it. Stop it. You want to know how to get through tough times? Rely on yourself. Become the best version of yourself that you could possibly become. Not say your best, right? So oftentimes we say, oh, I did the best I could. It's bullshit. Because if somebody had a fucking gun to your head, or if there was a camera crew following you around, how much better would your best just become? That's why I think about it. I think about when I'm washing my car, if I'm doing something, if a camera crew was following me around right now, I'm cleaning my house. If a camera crew was following me around right now, what would my best be? It would probably be a lot better than this because I'm trying to get away with it. I'm trying to be lazy. I'm trying to do just good enough. Again, the question you ask yourself, when did it become acceptable to be good enough? When did it become acceptable to be mediocre? When did it become acceptable to be average? The answer is you fucking know it's not acceptable. I'm the best. I should be the best I possibly can be. I did not come and have this experience as a human being just to be mediocre, just to be average. And that's the problem with our world today is so many people are going, man, I'm miserable because of you and I'm miserable because of you. My sister was that person. My sister blamed my mother for her entire life of misery. And I'm like, you're the one that made all the decisions. I said, Mom didn't tell you to do this and tell you to do that. You did that all on your own, sweetheart. Mom didn't tell you how to think. Mom didn't tell you to feel like a victim towards her. No, you chose that all on your own. And I had to wish my sister well because she was toxic. Boundaries, ladies and gentlemen, boundaries. If you don't want to sit there and think about life as being shitty, you got to have boundaries with yourself. You got to make sure you have boundaries and you're not tolerating and accepting a lot of the bullshit that so oftentimes we do that we don't realize over time compresses us. We just feel compressed. We just feel like, oh my God, I need a vacation. Here's another prescriptive order for you. Don't have a life that you need a vacation from. Don't have a job that you need a vacation from. Create and build something that you're excited about. Have a side hustle you're excited about. I mean, of course, vacations are great, but if you're constantly saving up that 1 or 2 weeks a year to escape your life, guess what? You have to go back to it. And yeah, you may be rested a little bit, but is that really long lasting? Is that really sustainable? Is what's going to keep you out of the doctor's office? Is that what's going to keep you out of taking medicines and prescriptions and all sorts of shit that potentially could have even further downfalls down the line? No. Why create a life that you have to run away from? Stop tolerating some of the bullshit in your life. Write it down on a list. Write it down. What you're tolerating from yourself, what you're tolerating from other people, and what you're tolerating from inanimate objects. It's incredible what you can find out when you're honest with yourself. And then you sit there and say, okay, if I eliminated the top 3, how much different will my life be? How much different will my relationships be? Because I'll be a happier person. How much different would my job be if I went in there and I felt positive and I felt part of the team and I felt empowered and I felt inspired, right? I need to have boundaries and tolerations with my customers, whether they're internal customers or external customers. If you're letting people walk all over you and you're expecting to feel great about yourself, you're fucked up. It's not going to work. You're going to get to a point where you're going to have had enough. And that's another question you can ask yourself. When will I have had enough of this? Because either you're going to stop it before you've had enough, or you're going to have had enough. And then you're going to look back on this and go, fuck, I've been doing this for 2 years, expecting different results. That's on you. Again, and this is not a beat abuse session. This is a fucking open your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? You make different choices. That garbage in, garbage out. Things start to shift. You start writing new programming into your brain saying, I'm not going to tolerate that, the way that people talk to me. I'm not going to tolerate the fact that I accept blame for shit that's not even my fault just to keep the peace. Whatever it might be for you, you have to step up. And that's what I teach you guys how to do, whether it's through the podcast, whether it's through my coaching, my group accountability coaching program that we got going on, whatever it might be. When you start being held accountable and you start investing in yourself and you start seeing the opportunities of how you can shift. And I'm not saying massive shifts overnight. I'm saying just a little bit. Like, okay, no longer am I going to tolerate people speaking negative towards me. I'm going to sit out there and say, you know what? I can appreciate you're in a foul mood right now. Perhaps we should carry on this conversation another time because I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me right now. And then that person maybe doesn't even know. Maybe the person apologizes, go, you know, I'm so glad you said something to me. I didn't realize what it was that I was saying. Yeah, I am kind of fired up right now. Can we continue this conversation tomorrow? I didn't mean to upset you. I've had people say that because I've sat there and said, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me right now. And they're just like, what? Like I got all offended. And I'm like, I'm not offended. I'm just telling you that I don't appreciate the way you're speaking with me right now. And I think it's important for you to know, because if you're doing this with other people and they don't have the balls to stand up and say something, you might be ruining your friendships and your relationships, Mr. or Mrs. And so they actually appreciate me for being honest, because so many times we're not honest. We just continue to put that shit upon ourselves. And that's why we have those tough days and those tough moments and those tough weeks. What's up? We got, let's see, Dennis says here, he goes, well, in America, I released 80 pounds and ran the LA Marathon. It's awesome, dude. I remember when you did that. That was fantastic. We got Katie Freilich in the house. What's up, Katie? She says, hey, bud, sounds like we need to be intentional, 100% intentional. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Yeah, SAD is real. Season effect disorder, it is real. So take vitamin D, ladies and gentlemen. Getting some sunshine is massively important. Jock says here, there is a seed of greatness in every being. The problem most people don't know how to be gardeners. Ooh, that's up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. You guys should write that shit down. Take a screenshot of it. That is important, right? You know, what Jock says here is massively important. He's one of my mentors. He's one of the guys that I can talk to and sit there and be honest with him and say, hey, this is what's going on in my marriage. This is what's going on in my business. This is what's going on in my head, you know, and you got to have people in your life to be able to do that. But back to Katie's point about being intentional. When I wake up in the morning, here's what I do. It's not complicated, but man, it's important. Before my eyes open, I say what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my son sleeping in the room next to me and he's healthy and alive. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my animals in the house that they have a roof over their head. I'm grateful for the fact that my roof doesn't leak. I'm grateful for the people who delivered my bed because it's an amazing bed. Find stuff to be grateful for, because so oftentimes we pick up our phone and what do? We look at the news, we look at social media, we start comparing ourselves to other people and we go, fuck. Oh my God, my boss is going to probably be in a bad mood. There's going to probably be tons of traffic. I'm late on those things. And we just spend the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour loading ourselves with what a shitty day it's going to be. So well, guess what? We have this thing called a reticular activation system in our brain, the RAS system. And it's going to go out there and it's going to find justification for those statements. See, Chris, you said it was going to be a fucked up day. Here's the traffic. Haha, I told you. Oh, you stubbed your toe. I told you it's going to be a fucked up day. Oh, there's no more milk. Oh, everybody fucking drinks all the milk in the house and never buys anyone. Oh, there's another fight. Everything's shitty. Then you get to work and you're in a shitty mood, and nobody there was in a shitty mood until you got there, and you're the one that creates a shitty mood. And then you're wondering why everybody's in a bad mood. But it's because of you. Because you focused on all the wrong things. So say what you're grateful for. And then the second thing you do is you set the intention. How many people have done this? How many of you guys have done that? Raise your hand. If you set the intention in the morning of what it is that you're going to do and who you're going to become, I want you to put it in the chat. And if you don't, I want you to put it in the chat that you're going to start doing that. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this video. I'm growing my YouTube channel. I've been focusing a lot of effort on making sure that this content gets right to the point. I'm focusing on making sure the titles and everything else are great. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Check out the other videos. I've got the short motivation videos. I got all sorts of stuff. So thank you for that. A little side commercial. So the second thing you do is you set the intention. So for me, I wrote my eulogy back in 2008. So my intention for my why in this world, and when you think about getting through tough times, you have to have a big enough why. When you have a big enough why, you have a big enough how. My why is that Christopher Rausch will have fought for what's right and what's fair. He will have risked for what's that mattered, and he will have left the earth a better place for who he was and what he did. So that's my why every single day. Of course, being a great dad, being a great husband, being a great friend, all those different things, but my why. So when I wake up in the morning, I set the intention to use my words and my actions to make this world a better place. My intention is to be present and playful with my son. Because so oftentimes we're playing with our kids are only going to be young for a minute. And whether you have old kids or young kids, be present with them, be in the moment with them, because so many times we take that for granted. And as they get older, the amount of time that we get to spend with them diminishes and diminishes. And what do? We get older and we look back and we have regrets. So I'm present and playful. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not thinking about anything else. I got to stop myself. Did I set the intention today to be absent while my kid's playing and trying to be goofy with me? No. What does he want right now? Another question. Again, when you're with somebody, when you're with your kid, am I the dad that I would want to be if I was a 5-year-old kid? Again, am I the dad that I'd want to be with if I was a 5-year-old kid? No. And I did that to myself at the beach one time. I didn't want to get all sandy, but my kid was playing in the sand. He had fucking sand everywhere. He was like, Dad, come play in the sand with me. And I was trying to be a little fucking prissy because I was like, I didn't want to get sandy. I'm like, Chris, you're not fucking showing up as a like the dad, a 5-year-old dad. You don't want that kid to go to school on Monday and go, man, my fucking dad got in that sand and played with me. And I got dirty, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? I wiped it off and I got in the shower and it was all gone. So my little preoccupation with not having sand everywhere was way overwritten by the fact that my son had a blast. So what's the intention? My intention is to be nice to people every day. My intention is to move the needle forward on my coaching program. My intention is to move the needle forward on my podcast. My intention is to be a great fun friend and listen. So you say what you're grateful for, you set the intention. And the third thing you could do is you can do some I am statements, like I am peace, I am love. Like, I'm not a dad, I'm not a husband. I mean, yeah, I'm those things as far as labels goes, but what am I? I am love. I am peace. So when you're going through something, especially for me, when I'm driving, I can be the nicest person in the world. I love people to death, but when I get behind the wheel, something snaps and I'm like, you fucking idiot. Chris, love and empathy. You're peace. You're peace. And so when I sit there and say, I am peace, I am peace, I have no idea what that car in front of me is going through. I have no idea if they're working 2 jobs and they get 2 hours of sleep and they're going through a divorce. I have no idea. So maybe if I have a little compassion, a little care and consideration for them, I won't take it personal because it's not about me. The next time you're behind the wheel and somebody cuts you off, remind yourself they didn't cut you off. They didn't go, well, there's Christopher Rausch driving that F-150. I'm going to cut in front of him today. People are just doing and coping the best they can because they don't have people like me in their life. Right? Just imagine I'm here every single week on this podcast. This is episode number 238. And I can say this with all honesty and pride. Most of those 238 shows are really good, that they will shift your perspective. Maybe I've had a couple of shows that weren't so great. Maybe some guests that weren't so great in the beginning because I didn't vet them out as much. But that's 238 times I've shown up every single week, 238 hours of programming that can move your life forward. So I encourage you to go back and listen to those. And as you're feeling you're having a down day, that's one of my other suggestions is to watch positive content. Listen to positive people. Like have people in your board of directors that you can go to. I listen to Tony Robbins. I listen to Tom Bilyeu. I listen to Ed Milet. I listen to Andy Frisella. I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. Have people that you can go to and say, hey, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Let me pull out my phone. My phone's in my pocket right now. And I can go listen to this person. It's almost like I'm having a conversation with them and I can hear what it is that maybe I can do in my situation to change what's not working for me. Because so oftentimes we stay silent if we're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a partnership, a business relationship, a coworker relationship, an intimate relationship. Are we really truly being honest with those people and telling them how we feel and giving them an opportunity to change what it is they're doing that we're allowing to be taken personal? No. Okay. Then how do we have that opportunity to complain? So oftentimes we complain, but yet we're the ones that are the people that need to change. And we're sitting there hoping, wishing, and praying that everybody else changes. I hope they change. I hope, wish, and pray that I get my life together. I hope, wish, and pray that I don't stop eating so much. I hope, wish, and pray someday. You show me where someday is on a calendar. I'll give fucking the first person $100 if they can show me where someday is on a calendar, because there is no someday. And guess what? If you're anywhere over the age of 30 watching this, how fast did the last 10 years go? Especially if you're over 30, if you're 40, 50, or 60, how fast did the last 10 years go? How fast are the next 10 years going to go? Probably faster. So why is it that you're going to delay putting off your gratification, your empowerment, your everything, Why are you going to put it off to someday? Why not decide today that, hey, in 2024, here are the 3 areas of my life I'm no longer going to tolerate. Here's where I'm going to have boundaries. Here is where I'm going to establish my value system so I can ask myself, is this in alignment with my values? Yes or no? No. Okay, then I'm not going to do it anymore. Or I'm going to find a variation of how I can do this because I'm not going to tolerate those things anymore. Again, back to the tolerations. We tolerate so much stuff we don't realize it. And when I work with my coaching clients and they get rid of those tolerations, even a bunch of small ones or a couple of big ones, they come to me every single time. They're like, Chris, I feel like the weight of the world is off of me. I'm like, why? What happened? Tell me about it. Well, I had a conversation with my family. And I said, listen, I'm not going to do everything anymore. And they're like, well, we were surprised you did this long anyway. What can we do to help? And they're like, if I'd had this conversation 5 years ago, I would have had so much time and so much more energy and so much less anger and animosity towards my family. And it was me, the one that was doing it. They were the ones that were like, well, if she wants to continue doing it, why not? Granted, in a perfect world, sure, the kids and the husband would say, you know what? We see you're busting your ass. Let us do the laundry or let us get the lunches prepared. But a lot of times people aren't going to do that because they're going to think, oh, well, they really enjoy doing that. They like taking care of me or whatever it might be. You might have these preconceived notions, these rules in your brain that until you communicate them aren't going to be valid. So you have to take that responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. That's the whole point of the show is you have to take responsibility. If you're going through tough times and you're not doing something to change it, especially not taking care of yourself, that's ridiculous. You're punishing yourself. You have to ask yourself again, the question, why am I continuing to self-sabotage myself? Why? And then dig deep until you get to the root where you go, there it is. Oh, because I don't have any sense of worth. I don't have any sense of value. I still take on my mother and my dad's opinion of me that I was worthless or I was stupid or I wasn't important because they never paid attention to me. They may have done that when you were a kid, but you have chosen to focus on that the rest of your life. So you cannot blame them. Have you gone to therapy for it? When I ask people about shit from their past, no, I tried therapy once and it didn't work. Great. I'm glad you gave up. You fucking moron. Don't do that. If you find a therapist that doesn't work, which I have had, you go find another therapist. And then you find the therapist that asks you really good questions. They're not there to give advice. They're to ask you questions. Like I remember this one therapist that I was working with after my mom died. She asked me a perfect question. She said, Chris, when did you stop being a kid? I was like, what fucking question is that? When did I stop being a kid? What do you mean? And so I thought about it. I'm like, probably about 6 or 7 years old. She's like, yeah. She goes, think about that. You always have to be responsible. You always have to have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. How would it feel if you didn't have that pressure upon yourself anymore? To always be doing, to always be proving, to always be showing. You're not going to gain your mother's love and validation now. She's gone. She's dead. So when did you stop being a kid? And what can you do to be reconnected with that kid? Because you deserve to have a childhood. And so she made it a point for me to figure out what things I like to do for fun. And so I started doing those things for fun. Granted, that's still one of my challenging points because I do love what I do. I love to work. I love to learn. I love to figure things out. I love to grow the podcast. I love to do the YouTube channel. I love to do these things. I love to coach. So yeah, I don't necessarily pull out my PlayStation 3 and play Rock Band as much as I should or I did. I'm not doing models or I'm not doing my coloring. I'm not playing my guitar as much, but I'm still enjoying what it is that I need to do. But I still have to accept that responsibility that, hey, if I had a little bit more fun in my life, might I be a little bit more fun? Might I have a little less judgment and criticism for people who have too much fun and don't work on their lives, but yet bitch, piss and moan about it. So think about that. It's important. Let me grab some of these comments right here. Jock says here, there is a seed of greatness in every being. The problem is that most don't know how to be gardeners. We talked about that one. Thank you. Thank you guys all for being here, whether you're live or on the replay. I love you guys. Katie says, I have my morning tea ritual where I take time to set my intentions for the day. Taking those few minutes helps. I need my glasses. Yes, smart, Katie. And Katie's joining my group accountability coaching program in December. So if you guys still want to get that, anytime you guys want to jump into that, I've had people reach out to me and said, oh, I wish I missed it. I'm sorry. At the beginning of the month, you can jump into it anytime. So it's not a commitment like you're going to be in it for 6 months. You could be in it as long as you want, for as long as you need it. You can jump in at any time. So there's that. And it's going great. We just had our second meeting of November yesterday, and it was off the hook. It was great. Katie says here, instead of setting the coffee maker on a timer, I make the time to set the sail for the day. Yes, 100% intentional, right? Be proactive. So many times we're reactive in our life. And I've seen my friends, I'm going to be 55 next year. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've seen my friends not take care of themselves over the years. Overweight. Oh yeah, overweight. I better watch out. I might get diabetic one day. Now I'm seeing my friend one after another. I'm type 2 diabetic. I'm type 1 diabetic. I'm on these different pills. I'm on cholesterol medications. I'm on blood pressure medications. I'm on blood thinners. I'm on all these different things. And now I feel like worse shit. I'm like, yeah, all you had to do is go to the gym, eat some pretty good food, drink some water, take some vitamins, take some supplements. And guess what? You can look young like me. Yeah. But no, seriously, I mean, it's sad to see people get to those points because regrets suck. The 5 regrets of the dying, that book that I talk about so often here, the number one regret of the dying is that they lived the life they thought they should live and didn't live the life they wanted to live. What a shame. Can you imagine? Like, I just want you to think about this for a second. Imagine getting to the end of your life, which is all going to happen for us. None of us are going to escape this. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen tonight. It could happen 30 years from now. My goal is 30 years from now when my son has kids of his own, then I can sit there and say, okay, well, let me figure out what the hell this next journey, this transition is going to be all about. Because I'm actually kind of excited about it. I'm not excited about doing it right now, but I'm actually kind of excited as I go through that process of dying. I'm actually kind of excited to see what's next. Like, I'll have all my stuff done here. I'll live my life. And so I have that sense of excitement. You shouldn't get to the end of your life and have the sense of dread that you didn't do the things that you wanted to do, that you didn't live up to the potential that you could have been, right? Get to the end of your life and go, wow, I fucking knocked it out. I went through so many tough times, but I failed my way to success, right? If I ask people, if you learn from your mistakes, most people say yes. And I tell them, go make more. Nobody's ever said, go make more mistakes. Like, you should stop making mistakes. You should try to be perfect. That's bullshit. There is no perfection in the fucking world. There is none, right? A perfectly executed plan done never will not be the same as a violently, poorly executed plan done today. That's George Patton, by the way. I just butchered the shit out of it because I'm not thinking very well. But for you, ladies and gentlemen, the one that's listening to this and one that's watching this, when are you going to have enough? And I know you're in spots like this. Oh, I'm in a great job, but I'm older and I don't want to rock the boat. You should rock the boat because chances are there's another job out there for you. It may take you 6 months, it may take you a year, but guess what? You get into the right role, you feel a lot better, your relationships improve, your health improves, all these different things. But if you continue to tolerate something that does not work for you just because you're making money, you're literally selling your soul to the devil. And again, getting to the end of your life, you're going to look back and go, man, I'm so glad that I killed myself, that I held that all inside to pretend to my family that I was happy and that because I was able to provide, right? Especially if you have a short life, maybe you get cancer, maybe you have a heart attack, maybe you have a stroke, right? Or maybe you're tired and you get into an accident on the way home. Are you going to think positively of those situations and those decisions that you made? But so oftentimes we take it for granted because we think it's never going to happen to us. But yet you turn on the news, you talk to people every single day. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And I don't want that to happen for you. So when you think about, like the title of this podcast, how to stay positive during tough times, those tough times are there for you to teach you something. And the other suggestion I have for people in tough times is this: go give to somebody else. Go give to somebody else. I used to do pay it forward coaching where people would come to me for a 6-week coaching program and I didn't need the money. I had a great day job, but I just wanted to help people. And so for 6 weeks, I would coach them. And then for the payment for me, they would go do 3 nice things for some complete stranger. So as a homeless person, go volunteering in the soup kitchen, go into volunteering in the old folks home, cleaning up the neighborhood, whatever it might be, then come tell me about it. And then what I want you to do is go tell other people about it and let's inspire a movement, because it's based on the Pay It Forward movie that was back in like the 2000s or 90s or something like that with Haley Joel Osment, where this little boy does one thing and it kind of like spirals out and it does great things all around the world. Go out there and do something for somebody else, because chances are what's going to happen, and this is what I saw happen in people, is they realize their situation wasn't so bad. Because when you talk about, we've all joked around, oh, I've got real world problems. Oh, I have to go clean the pool. Oh, I have to figure out which one of my cars to go get the oil changed or whatever stuff like that. That real world problem, it's there for a reason. So when you think about going and volunteering your time at an old folks home, and then you get to see the disappointment and the frustration on their faces when you walk in because nobody comes and visits them and they're living out their last days and they're not able to do the things they once were able to do to change their life. And now they're just stuck living with that every single day. But you come in and you share a song, you share a story, you lift them up, at least for that particular amount of time. You're a little angel in their life. And so when you do that, that gives you a perspective about your life to think, wow, at least I'm not in their situation. I'm not a homeless person. I'm not a homeless mom with a couple of kids who just is one paycheck away from, getting back on her feet. Whatever it is, if you're having a shitty time, go out there and volunteer. Go out there and volunteer in your neighborhood. Go around to the elderly folks in your neighborhood, maybe offer to mow their lawn or offer to take them grocery shopping. Go out there and do something else for somebody else, because chances are it's going to eliminate on your life how good your life really is. And so oftentimes when you think about this, you may have heard this before, you get a group of 10 or 15 people together and you all throw your problems into the pile. What problems do you think you're going to take back after you see what everybody else's problems are? Chances are it's going to be yours. You're going to go back and think, fuck, at least I'm not going through bankruptcy. At least I know how my wife cheating on me. At least my daughter's not a crackhead. At least this. You take your problems back and go, oh, well, let me, I'm not going to be as mad or vindictive or anything else about my problems, because chances are other people have bigger problems than you. So you have to have that perspective. When you shift that perspective just a little bit, guess what happens? You start seeing things in a different light, and that compounds on itself every single day. So when you think about starting your day with the intentions, with gratitude setting, with some I am statements, with some journaling, with some positive music or some positive development, take 20 minutes and listen to a podcast, set yourself up for success. Think about it. It's not going to be overnight. In some cases, it might be overnight, but 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2 years down the road, you're going to be a different person, because now it's going to be more automatic. Now, when you hear something negative, you're going to be like, wow, that sucks. What can I do to help? Or you're not going to sit there and go, oh, let me commiserate about that. Oh, or do the one-upsmanship game. Oh, you think that's bad? Let me tell you about my shitty experiences and my shitty life. I can't stand when people start doing that crap, because it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So again, you are in the driver's seat. Again, going back to the beginning of the show, garbage in, garbage out. What are you putting into your brain? What are you putting into your body, right? If you're eating sugar, sugar is the number one cancer causing substance. So when you think about what is cancer, what do they have to do to detect cancer? They have to inject you full of sugar so it finds the cancer and it lights up on a PET scan. So you're sitting there pouring sugar down your throat, sugar in this, sugar in that, sugar in this, but yet you want to live a long, productive life. You don't want to have cancer. Stop doing that. You're being an idiot. I just recently quit drinking. I love to drink. But guess what? I watched a documentary on how the process of alcohol and the fermentization and all that stuff, and how you're drinking literal poison. That's how it gives you that effect of feeling buzzed and like, oh yeah, I feel comfortable now. I quit drinking. And normally I've quit drinking with an end date, or I'll quit drinking for 3 months. I'll quit drinking until my birthday. I'll quit drinking for 75 hard. This time I just quit drinking because I'm like, you know what? For me to say that I want to be around until my son has kids and I can be there and be healthy, but yet I'm doing this to my body, that's stupid. That's stupid. And I'm not afraid to say that. That was like literally me being like, if I got liver cancer, or if something God else for happened, and I'm looking at my deathbed and I'm like, oh, Chris, you got 6 months to live, I would feel so horrible that I put it out in the world that I was going to do this, but my actions didn't support what it is that I said was most important. So you got to catch yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The things you put in your body may not be doing anything right now, but in the next 5 or 10 years, as you get older, that starts to compound on itself. And all of a sudden you have cancer at 58 years old. 55, you were great. 58, you have cancer. You're dead by 60. When you said you wanted to live the rest of your life, you have to put yourself on blast, and you have to surround yourself with people who are going to help you do that. That's why it's so important to be a part of an accountability group, to be a part of a coaching program, to have a mentor that you check in with regularly so they can poke you in the eye and say, hey, listen, you said you're going to lose weight this year. You have not clearly lost weight. What's the fucking deal? Right? Do we need to go work out together? Do you need to go hire a private trainer? Well, I can't afford it. Okay, what can you do differently to afford it? Because guess what? The private trainer is going to probably cost as much as your medications and your doctor's visits. So pick one, baby. Pick one. And are you going to enjoy going to those doctor's visits? Oh, your diabetes is going out of whack. Oh, your cholesterol's out of whack. Oh, your heart medication's out of whack. When you can actually just start making different choices for yourself. Again, it all builds on itself. I promise you. Here's another perspective. We talk about real world problems. Oftentimes it's the language that we use on ourselves. So oftentimes we say, oh, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. This goes along in terms of tolerations as well. Oh, I have to do this. Then you start to feel overwhelmed. Like, God, I have so much to do. And when people tell me that, when they say they don't have time to do something, I sit there and say, okay, let's talk about what's on your plate. Because oftentimes we go based on what we tell ourselves, not what the actual physical reality is. We may be busy, but are we working smart or are we working hard? Like, I know sometimes I check off a lot of stuff off my task list, but even for me, sometimes I'm like, oh, Chris, you didn't do the big thing on your task list today, but I was busy. That's my justification. That's my excuse. No, it's bullshit. Tomorrow, now you're going to fucking do the big one first. Do we want to do the big one first? No. But when we do it and we get it out of the way, guess what? We feel a sense of accomplishment. We sense a sense of achievement, a sense of pride within ourselves that we didn't give ourselves an excuse to say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I really don't feel like doing it right now. And who's going to ever feel like doing the fucking big frog first? Who's going to be able to feel like doing that? But guess what? When you hold yourself accountable and you stop saying, I have to, and you start saying, I get to, oh God, I got to pay my bills. Well, fuck, I get to pay my bills. This is a pretty cool thing. Maybe it doesn't leave me much at the end of the month, but I paid my bills. That's a pretty cool fucking spot to be in. Don't be sitting there saying, oh man, I wish I had more money. I wish I had this. Until you ask yourself the question, what is it that I can do differently to earn more money? If you don't have a side hustle right now, everybody should have a side hustle. What is your God-given gift that you can do 24 hours a day and not get tired of it? This is it for me. I can sit there and personal speak and speak on stages and do podcasts and coach people all day long, and it won't tire me out. I mean, I get a little bit tired, but you know what I'm getting? You know what I'm saying? That so you have a side hustle, whether it's an Etsy program, whatever it might be, do that on the side. If even it only brings you a couple $100 a month, and then maybe, in a year it brings you more than a month, it builds on itself. And at least you're being a part of that solution instead of being part of the problem. And then you sit there and you realize, I get to go do these things, right? I had a situation recently, well, not recently, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Everything seems recent to me, where I said, I have to go clean my pool. And I said it in such a way that it sounded like I had to go fucking sweep a horse stall. Like, even that, if you have horses, that's pretty cool. I have a horse stall. I can go sweep the horse shit. And I said this, and I have to go clean the pool. And I'm like, Chris, you have a fucking pool. Shut up. And sometimes we need to talk to ourselves like that. I'm like, literally, when I go clean the pool now, I'm like, I have a pool. Oh my God, I have a pool. This is so fucking awesome. This is so cool. Find gratitude. You get to do things. And if you find yourself, I have to go make the kids' lunches. I have to go do the laundry. I have to go get the car. I have to. What and who can you delegate to? And sometimes that may be making an investment, getting a house cleaner or doing whatever it is, or talking to your family and saying, hey, listen, I need your help on this. And stand up for yourself. Because if you continue to be a doormat, guess what you're going to continue to get? You're going to continue to get stomping feet all over you. And that's your responsibility, because when people take advantage of you, yeah, that's one thing. But when you allow it, you're kind of setting the precedent to say, hey, yeah, fuck, have me do more stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just smiling and say it's okay. I'm trying to keep the peace. That's ridiculous. Let me grab some of these comments. Jock Roca says, reactive process is where fools fear to walk and enjoy the journey into consciousness and transformation. Yes. Amen. Speaking my language right there. Consciousness and transformation. That's what I'm talking about tonight. Get to. This is a blessing. Amen, brother. Yeah. I get to go for my walk. I get to eat healthy. I get to sleep early. I get to find solutions to my problems. I don't get to be a victim anymore. I get to choose to be a victor. Again, this is all self-reflection, ladies and gentlemen. This is personal development 101. This is with an ass kicking though. Jesus Christ, I've already been going for 47 minutes. We're not going to get those questions tonight. Okay, I'm going to put this in the comments right now. This is an amazing documentary. I didn't want to let this episode go without you guys seeing this. For you guys listening on the podcast, it's a documentary called Finding Joe, the Joseph Campbell story. It's on YouTube. It's like an hour and 23 minutes. It's an excellent representation of the hero's journey. Like when we watch these great movies and we get all sucked into we voting for the loser, we're voting for the lowest man, because they're going to go on this hero's journey. They're going to go through all these things. They're going to get these battle scars, and they're going to come back and they're going to show people how to do it. The same thing happens in your life. You're getting chosen to go through these challenging experiences because you can handle it. And if you sit there and try to drink yourself out of it, or eat yourself out of it, or ignore yourself out of it, or shop yourself out of it, or Netflix yourself out of it, guess what? It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay the fuck right there with you for the rest of your life until you do something different about it. God, source, universe, whatever you believe in is challenging you. So watch this hero's journey. I had a friend of mine that was talking about it. He's like, man, I've been kicked down so many times. I'm just tired of it, Chris. I'm tired. I'm like, I get you, bro. I get you. It's exhausting. I've been through so much shit in my life, and I'm continued to be challenged. And I'm sit there and I'm like, you must think a lot of me. You must think a lot of me. And I'm not a big religious person, but I sit there and I'm like, you must think a lot of me. What am I continuing to learn from this? What can I grow? What can I shift? And that's what it talks about here in the hero's journey, Finding Joe, the Joseph Campbell story. Wherever you're getting podcasts, this will be in the notes as well, so you'll be able to find that as well. But it's pretty incredible what it is that you can do in your own life, that proactive approach to be able to change what it is that you're doing. And I'll summarize a couple more things. Do your best, and do your real fucking best, like your real best, like blood, sweat, and tears best. Like when you think about it, like a camera crew is watching you best. Like you're trying to impress the prettiest girl, the best looking guy, whatever it might be. Do your best, because so oftentimes we sit there and say, oh, I did the best I can, or I'm doing the best I can, which is a cop out. It goes back to our childhood days. A lot of our conditioning happens between 0 and 5. right? 0 and 5. Did you do the best you could, Chris? Yeah. Okay, do better next time. Nobody ever fucking qualifies what our best is. And we usually find out what our best is when we're under extreme pressure. So when you think about what is your best, are you doing your best right now? Oh, I'm just hanging on. That's not your best. What is it that you can do differently? Again, surrounding yourself with the right people who will hold you accountable, the people that you can talk honestly with, the people who are going to push you to do your best. Hey, Chris, I know you can do more. Hey, Chris, here's another way you can firm up your podcast. I have my buddy Walt. We talk once a week at least. We go on each other's YouTube. Our focus right now is growing our YouTube. We go on each other's YouTube page. It's like, hey, what about switching this? Or I think this would look better like this. Or what about this? Or hey, can we go comment on 3 of the most recent videos? We're helping each other up. We're pushing each other to become better. We're not sitting there complaining about what's going on in the world. We've actually talked about starting a show where we'd actually riff on some of the bullshit that's going on in the world, just as a way of comic relief for us. But we haven't pursued that. But make sure you're doing your best. Like I don't feel like it today. Do it anyway. Just say, fuck my excuses. I didn't feel like working out today, but I went and did it. I didn't crush it. Do your best every single day in every single way. Give yourself a break every once in a while, but do your best. Have that sense of pride that if you died today, would you be proud of the actions that you took? Would you be proud if this was all on film and your family got to watch your last day? For me, if this is my last day and this is the last thing I do and my son watches this, my life's great. Because I ended this day doing this and living my purpose. I did it today. I did it yesterday with my group coaching program. I do it every single day, somehow, some way. I use my words, my actions to make this world a better place. Have your big why, ladies and gentlemen. Have your big why, because then you're going to have your big how. And I can't stress the importance of that. So when you have tough times, look at yourself and say, hey, listen, what am I supposed to be gaining from this? Am I being a part of the solution or am I being a part of the problem? Exactly. Ask yourself those empowering questions, and what it is will happen when you get honest with yourself. Shit will change and it won't be easy. Chris, I've had these people tell me all the time, Chris, my God, it's going to be so hard. Yeah. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. It's going to be hard, but guess what? It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. When you get on the other side of that mountain, you climb that cliff, you're going to get banged up. You're going to get dinged up, but guess what? You're going to get over that mountain. You're going to look back and go, fuck, I never want to do that again. But boy, that top was beautiful. That top was beautiful. So when you think about that in your life, ladies and gentlemen, you have the ability to do more. You have the ability to be more. You have the ability to focus on what's most important in your life and to change what is not working for you. But if you continue to tolerate that, guess what? You're going to continue to play the hope, wish, and pray game, and it's not going to work out in your favor, and you're going to die with regrets. And if you're okay with that, by all means, keep doing what you're doing, because if we had 100% of go-getters out in the world today, I don't know if the world could handle that. But you can do it in your life. You could set the example for your kids and for your friends and for your family. You could be the strong person. You could sit there and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to bitch about the news. I'm not going to bitch about politics that I can't do anything about or I'm not doing anything about. If you're going to bitch about it, go get involved in it. Get involved in your local city council. Start making a difference. Start making a difference in the local laws. Guess what? It all starts somewhere. You could be that answer. Got Tim Gillette in the house. What's up, Rockstar? Me and Tim go way back when we both had hair. What's up, Tim? Thanks for joining us, man. It's been a fire episode. It's just been me tonight. I had so much more to talk to you guys about, but that at least answered that. I still got a ton of questions from a previous 2 episodes where I took your questions and I couldn't answer them all because I tend to talk a lot. But when this episode gets value for you, please do me a favor, share it out. Share it out from a podcast, share it out. We're on all podcast platforms, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, iHeart, everywhere. So share it out and say, man, this guy was on fire. He lit me up. He inspired me to think differently about my past, present, my future. That's my goal. 2024, impacting 1 million lives. I know I've impacted thousands and thousands of lives, but now it's time to take it up a notch. That's why I decided to quit drinking. And that's why I'm bringing it to you guys, the heat and the love. All right. So next week, who do we have up next week? You guys are always asking me that. I got to tell you, we are booked out through next June. It is insane. We are booked out until next June. Next week, we have, Earl Amin. Earl's been on my Friday night show, The Unfiltered Experience. He's a tremendous dude. I get him all by myself this time. Next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can watch it live on the video cast on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, anywhere you go, fucking find me. Earl Amin, he's an awesome dude. He has experienced some challenges in his life. I'm sure he's going to talk about, and he talks about the fact that we're never in control of really anything except for what's going on in here. So it's going to be a continuation of the conversation that we've had tonight. I'm going to go relax. I'm tired. I haven't eaten much today, so I need to go nourish myself. And I appreciate you guys. I love you. We are on show number 238. There's going to be another 238 and another 238. We're going to continue rocking and rolling and bringing you the value every single week. If you're not a part of my YouTube station, go be a part of that. YouTube.com/the Christopher Rausch. There's a playlist in there called Shorts and Inspirational Messages. I've been doing a lot of shorts lately, 60 seconds or less. I've been doing it with the show and all sorts of other shit designed to inspire you daily. Go join it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share some of those videos out. Help me, help you guys, help the world. All right. Together we can do this. I love you. We'll see you next time on the Raw Unscripted.